In the Mile High City, where the lights shine bright, the Broncos fight hard in the cold, clear night. With every Hail Mary, our hopes take flight, and the Nuggets dribble dreams into the spotlight. 24 seconds, the clock's racing down. Every gridiron and hoops, we stand tall. With every dunk and three, we give it our all. In the city of champions, we heed the call. Together as one, we rise, never fall. With a quick crossover and a thunderous slam, the crowd's rolling wild, it's now or never, man. From the court to the field, we stake our claim. Together we'll rise.
Welcome to Denver Gridiron and Hoops YouTube Live Edition. I am David McDougal. I have with me VMAC, Vinny McDougal. Tell me, Vinny, how's the night treating you?
It's good, man. YouTube Live, we're here. I hope you're coming in here soon. Check us out. Let's go.
Yeah, let's get that chat rolling. You know, we want that fan interaction. That is a fact, because when you think about it, this is a channel for the fans, by the fans. And we want that ravenous energy. We want the back and forth. We want it all. We're about that smoke. That all being said, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I need everybody to tell me how right I am. So, I mean, clearly every take I have is 100% accurate and cannot be disputed in any way, shape, or form. So please, just affirm me in the chat. That's all I'm looking for.
Yeah, the commissioner tried to dispute him, and then he told him no, and he very politely went home. So I mean, that's where that is. So Vinny, tell me, what'd you smash?
Oh, we're always talking about what's on the menu, and you already know it's a budget. It's a budget item. Occasionally we splurge, but not too often. So I'm gonna give you a little secret here again. I keep going back breakfast for dinner, but this is a different angle on it. So hit up King Soopers, go to refrigerated section, grab yourself 8 biscuits for $2. Depending on inflation, in the coupon of that week, it might be $2.25, might be $1.75, depending on what you got coupon wise. Grab yourself some biscuits. Go to the gravy section. Libby's Country Gravy and Sausage.
Libby's? I don't even think I've heard of that.
Telling you. Libby's, they also do pumpkin pie filling. So, if you know, you know.
Hey-o.
But we're talking $2, $2.50, once again, depending on your coupons. You just got yourself dinner for $4 or $5. And yes, it does clog your arteries. We're not talking healthy stuff here. But it is calories, it is cheap, it is delicious, and it is fun for all ages.
Talking about
just
feeding the family here,
Exactly. Yep, fun for all ages.
Heck yeah. Yeah, it was so when I was out in Albuquerque just recently, I had the per diem. So I was going around, and it was funny because one of the nights I was like, man, I feel like steak. So I went into Google and I was like, found a steakhouse that looked good. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go there. And then I had a second thought. I was like, maybe I should check the menu just in case. And I looked at the menu, and dude, the steak started at like $150, and then they had a Wagyu on there that was $350. So imagine rolling up to that place and them not having the prices on the menu and just being like, it's all right. I'll just, it'll be a nice meal. Dude, I'd have had some sticker shock for sure.
So you went to like Black Tie Steakhouse almost, it sounds like.
I did not end up going there. It was something I thought I was going to be going to, but just because I have the per diem doesn't mean I want to pay for the rest of it out of pocket. So I ended up, I think that night I ended up getting some barbecue. You can't go wrong with barbecue. I was talking about, we're about that smoke earlier. Now, I mean that certain kind of smoke, the kind that lasts like maybe I don't even know what they are, like 24 hours. I'd love to get a smoker, but I feel like I'd probably screw it up.
Yeah, I think as you get older in age, they say you either start smoking meat or you get really into history. Like those are your two options once you reach a certain age. So your time hasn't come yet. You're
Yeah,
gonna have to make a decision here soon. Do I want to start smoking meats or do I want to dabble into history and
yeah.
find out all about World War II or whatever? So
N-
your time's still coming.
Now I
So I'm
understand.
surprised you didn't hit up any Tex-Mex type spots because
Oh,
I
I
bet
did.
you. Okay, good, good,
Yeah, I
good.
did.
Just maybe.
I had my fair share. But yeah, I mean, it all makes sense now why Dad's got that bachelor's in history because I don't think he had a smoker. So I think you're onto something here. I think Vinny's dropping nuggets here. We're not talking Denver nuggets. We're talking nuggets of wisdom, and you guys just you need to respect it. That's all I can say.
You'll be there soon.
Right? And so really, I think the main talking points are going to be Broncos. They are in the swing of things, and once training camp hits, and you smell it in the air, the fresh cut grass. You see the construction that's going on behind the training camp. I don't know if you've seen any like the pictures and videos and stuff, but they are moving on that new practice facility. You always see like cranes in the background and man lifts, and they're putting work in. So that's interesting to see. But more importantly, is the product on the field. I have heard great things about Bo Nix, and it was just like little things where it's like he said that during his first year, I think it was, I'm gonna butcher whose ever name it was, but I want to say it was like that Doris Burke, but I could be totally wrong. But s- someone was reporting on talking to Bo Nix and asking, "Hey, what's the difference between year one and year two so far for you?" And he said, "Oh, it's a huge difference." He said, "Last year I memorized the playbook, but this year I understand it." And like
Mhm.
when you have something where you know what it is, but you don't quite get the gist of it, and the difference between those two things. And that quote from him just spoke volumes to me. What do you think about that?
Yeah, love to hear that. I've also heard some good things. Just obviously not being able to watch it personally. But I do got to comment on the construction. This is what happens when we got Walmart money. Okay, when you got Walmart money, those construction workers in the background, they're getting paid big bucks to do what they're doing. So
Right.
so they're excited to come to work, right? This isn't just about the Broncos. This is about that Walmart money. And there's two seasons in Colorado. There's winter and construction. So if you know, you know.
That's a
Those are
good
those are the
point.
two. Those are the two seasons. Everybody's like, yeah, you get four seasons in Colorado: fall, winter, spring, summer. But it's just winter and construction. Those are the two seasons. So I agree completely. Just having that next level knowledge on something, and I as much as he says it, right, there's still plenty to learn, especially as defenses adjust. But this is Sean Payton coming to light. As
Yeah.
much as I want to give Bo Nix credit to, this is what the guy does. There was an ESPN article out today that listed the top coaching staffs, and Broncos came in at number 6 out of all the NFL teams. And it just shows you what they're bringing to the table, helping their young talent develop. And we're paying Sean to develop Nix. That's literally why he's here, to get the most out of the quarterback that you possibly can. And not to mention everything we just talked about, he's also going up against what could be top 2, top 3, top 5, at minimum top 5 defense. A lot of people are saying the best, could be the best defense. I won't go there yet, but
Yeah.
we're talking the top 5 at minimum defense that he's doing this against in practice. Where I think it's what, one pick in 7-8 days against the top defense, and this is what camp is known for, right? You're taking those risks, throwing balls that you might not throw in a game, and to still have that production shows something.
Yeah, good job bringing that up. That was actually what I was going to bring up next. Is it took him 7 camp days to throw a pick, and I mean, it is what it is. Like, a lot of them maybe he's put in advantageous situations and things of that nature. They're trying to bring him along nicely, but the one that did happen, it was actually Hofanga who actually baited him. So it's good to give him those looks, because we actually have, not to say that safeties couldn't have done it before, but something tells me just the all pro caliber of a Hofanga, he's probably teaching him a little bit that he didn't know before, if you get what I mean. There's bright sides in general to the newcomers. Everybody's practicing. Like, that to me is huge. Greenlaw had a walkthrough, I think, today, where he was like just jogging, no pads. But I think it's because he had a near injury the previous one, and they were like, "Oh, let's be careful." So, the fact that Hufanga's on the field, the fact that Greenlaw's on the field, the fact that Evan Ingram's on the field, like super positive vibes in my opinion. Now, obviously, we need to continue that forward into the season, and we'll see how that happens.
Agreed. Yeah, there's 3 things I look for in camp. First off, want to see some fights because that's what brothers do. Brothers, you and I got into some scuffles growing up. That's what these guys do. They fight, right? You around each other all the time. You fight. So I like to see fights. Second thing I like to see is injury free. Right? We don't want somebody who was it like a decade ago, maybe not a decade, went into a sprinkler hole and tore a ligament or something. Like, just, we don't need any of that crap. Like, just get out of camp.
Dumerville tore his bicep, and then yeah, a lot of freak injuries like that happen in the training camp. I mean, matter of fact, we did have one. Why am I forgetting his name now? That middle linebacker barely ever sees the field. Of course, it's going to escape me. But he was carted off, and they did actually end up signing another linebacker, so it's not looking good. They said it wasn't likely to be his, I believe it was his ACL that he had problems with last time. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I can't remember his name. Big guy. But that being said, that we are where we want to be. J.K. Dobbins is also practicing, and you mentioned fights and everything like that. I'm going to bring up a couple, not necessarily fights, but at least some tenacity. So J.K. Dobbins has been the most vocal member of the offense, is what reports are saying, where the defensive line are like apparently the jokesters, specifically Malcolm Roach. Like, apparently they say that they can't report exactly what's said, but they say that his material is so good. But anyways, they say J.K. Dobbins chirps right back. And then also Marvin Mims calling out Malcolm Roach, because a reporter asked him about how he felt about Malcolm Roach talking trash all practice. And he's all, "Man, you're fat. You got bigger things to worry about." So, they're exchanging barbs at least, which is good, because I think number one, it's good natured. It's not like vindictive or anything like that. And in general, I do agree that the Broncos offense probably hasn't had a guy that's like, willing to bark back at the defense, because the defense is so dominant. And I like hearing that JK is coming in and doing that. And on top of that, he had an interview where they were saying, "Oh, how do you feel about the back committee that you're going to be a part of?" And he's like, "Yeah, I don't see it as a committee." He's like, I'm here to start." He said, I expect 25 carries a game." And like, just kind of alpha dogged. Like, I know it's obviously just an interview, easy to do at that point in time.
Yeah.
But that's what I want to see. I want to see someone that wants it, So pretty impressed by that.
He is the veteran, right? He's got a second year, and is McLaughlin's second year or third year?
I want to say it's actually third year.
Okay, so still not exactly veteran status, and then obviously the rookie. So I'd expect him to do that. I'd want him to have those 25 carries in week 19 and 20. versus weeks 1 and 2. That's just a personal take, but I agree. It feels like for as long as I can remember, I'm trying to think of boisterous players we had because Shanahan ran a tight ship, right? Although Shannon, Unk, he was able to, run his mouth, spitting out, opposing players' girlfriends' phone numbers while lining up. And we see where that got him today. So I mean, he's still making so much money. Um, Emmanuel Sanders was a little chirpy, but he also had the sheriff in town, so he couldn't go too crazy because the sheriff he wasn't having that.
He
So
was
yeah,
still yeah, he had some fire to him for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like Clinton Portis brought a lot of swag to the role, to the team. So it'll be cool to see him stay healthy and back up that talk. And that's funny. The D line, could maybe they need to start a YouTube channel. Maybe they already have one. We just don't know about it. I'll have to go check it out.
Right.
Get some of his content going.
Yeah, and it's funny when your second string D tackle is the one that's talking the most smack. But I'm sure he rotates in at ends and stuff like that. But the line in general, they're pretty mean, so they're able to rotate quite a bit. So something I was hearing was Audric Estime is actually having a really good camp, so that's good to hear because we want those draft picks to do well. Apparently, Jaleel's not having as good as of a camp, but I do think that Jaleel is the favorite to win the third spot over Estime simply because he's like a Sean Payton guy. Even though in this most recent practice, Sean Payton apparently lit him up for something with footwork. But I think it was, there's sometimes where coaches, they're willing to light someone up if they like them. If they don't like them, they just won't say nothing. So I think that it could be one of those situations. But to circle back, Drew Sanders was the guy that ended up getting carted off the field. And I haven't seen any updates on that. I know he was scheduled to get an MRI. But the fact that they went and signed Garrett Wallow, I think that is an indicator that it's maybe not looking good.
Right.
So that depth is affected, but apparently Lavelle Bailey seems to be having at least a decent training camp, which is basically that next man up opportunity, if you get what I mean. So hopefully he can take that backup duty, which I'm assuming is going to also be special teams, and kind of run with it.
Yeah, obviously the game film, is always going to outweigh whatever happens in practice. So as these games come up, we'll see who's getting the carries, and that obviously is the biggest indication of who's going to get that spot. And then defensively, yes, he's. Is it Lavelle? How's it pronounced? I don't know how it's
I
pronounced.
think it's Lavelle, but I could be wrong. I didn't check the phonetics.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
You're a podcast professional. You're supposed to be on this.
struggling here.
It's always tough for me when you're a part of a great unit to fully understand what is your individual standing out versus this is a collective that everybody has high expectations on that defense. Sometimes it elevates the play, sometimes it masks certain things. So again, same thing as these preseason games roll out, we'll get a better taste of what these guys do in game. So cannot wait to see these games start popping off. Obviously, Hall of Fame game just went down. Was it last night? So we're here, man. Hall of Fame game. That's the start of it all.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, before we know it, we're gonna at least be able to watch the fourth string in the first preseason game. But on other news, I mentioned it in a quick episode I released on the podcast tonight. But Mike McGlinchey has also been a non-participant. I don't know the circumstances around that, and I don't know if he returned. I haven't heard on it since. But I'm gonna butcher his name, but Alex Pazewski. I think that's his name, is the guy that's been taking those first team reps. And when I saw him last year, I actually liked him quite a bit. He was not a turnstile at right tackle, which is often the case with backups. So not that I'm not concerned. It's just it's something to keep an eye on going forward, if you get what I mean.
Agreed. Yeah, it feels like an eternity until the regular season actually hits. But old, what do we want to call him? AP, A-ski. We'll throw in a nickname so we don't have to try and pronounce his name, especially if he actually gets some time. We'll come up with a nickname for you, buddy, before the season starts, if we need to. If you're not playing, we'll probably forget. Just throw it out there.
Yeah, like for example, Jedi Baron. Like I'm assuming his nickname's gonna be the Baron. You know what I mean? Like I'm assuming, but he needs to deal with. Isn't that like a pizza company too, Red Baron or something like that?
Oh yeah,
We're putting that positive juju out in the world for you today. I haven't heard much about him from camp, which is hard to tell if that's a good thing or bad thing, if you get what I mean, especially from corners. Normally when you don't hear their name, it's a good thing, you know? But yeah, it's hard to say. I know Michael Bandy ripped him for a large game
yeah.
at one point in time, which it seems like Michael Bandy I wonder if he'll actually make the team this year, because it seems like he's had two solid off seasons twice in a row. But that being said, he could be one of those guys that they maybe just call up for a few games, like they did last year with I can't remember the name of the wide receiver. So it's practice squad guys. I'm not that invested.
Yeah, I mean, you beat the first round draft pick, a couple more times in camp and put some film on, you might have a spot. But I mean, speaking of wide receiver news, you and I both discussed us not wanting Sutton to get re-signed.
And he got one more year than I thought he would get.
So we have Scary Terry out in Washington with probably the most dynamic quarterback in the league, can't even get a deal. But we're over here in Denver saying, up and down performance. Yes, you've had your best season to date career, in his career. We're going to go ahead and just pay you max, what I would say max money for him right now and just lock you up. What do you think?
I think it was a message to the locker room that if you do what we request and you do it at a high level, and I'm not necessarily talking stats, from all indications, locker room, like he's like a leader, and then gym room, he is a leader, and like all around just overall professional. I think that's why they got the deal done, because from the reports it just seems like he does the right things, which if that's what you're wanting to reward, like I get it. And hopefully they set up the contract where it can be null and void in 2 years, cuz I mean, I'm sorry, but like he's 30 right now and it's a 4-year contract at like almost 25 mil per. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it's just not going to age well. There's no chance it ages well. But I think
so you're
go ahead.
So you're a take care of your guys guy, is what you're saying here.
Yeah, I think they just didn't want to tell the team that, like, and also like last year he had that disgruntled stuff and they asked him to stay and everything like that. I think they just didn't want to send the wrong message to not only the locker room, but like the agents. You know what I mean? Like, cause like there's those little things you don't think about, like, when the agents hear, oh well, they did this guy this way, do you really want to go there as a free agent? You know what I mean? Like, I honestly think there was just a lot more factors in it than just football, and I think that that's the case. I think he is far and away our number one right now, even though Troy Franklin seems to be having a heck of a camp. Like, they're talking about him in like shining light every time I hear it. So that is good to hear. But that being said, what are we going to do with Zach Allen and Nick Benito? I don't know if you've seen the buzz, but A lot of people are starting to look at that instance over in Dallas where Micah Parsons is disgruntled and saying, "Huh, Nick Benito plus a pick for Parsons doesn't sound like a bad idea." Now, by all means, I don't think this is feasible at all, but let's
Right.
go down that lane for a second.
So it would be pick plus pick plus pick and Benito, right? It wouldn't be like what it might be 3 first to get him type thing.
Maybe
And
not
then
with Benito. Without him, yes.
I don't think that, but we can talk and we'll talk about it, but I don't think Dallas will get rid of him, but it would be interesting. It would be like this would be, if you were to do this is a move where you say we are 100% confident that Bo Nix is next level good. I don't think anybody who's watched last season would come out and say Bo Nix is not a starting quarterback in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
That bar has been established. Can he win playoff games? Can he win conference championships games? Those are the next hurdles he needs to clear. And you see guys like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen who haven't cleared those conference championship hurdles yet. So a move like bringing in Parsons says like, okay, Bo Nix is winning conference championships level quarterback play. So that's where I'm like, I don't see it happen. It would be interesting if a team from the AFC went after Parsons. There's quite a few that want to get over that hump, and I can't believe they're not paying the man. But that's what's so interesting about Sutton, right? We see a team not paying Scary Terry. We see a team not paying Parsons, but somehow, some reason, we had to get that Cortland Sutton deal done. So I'm definitely torn on it. I get exactly what you said. Like, if you're doing all the right things and you're internal, we want to reward our guys. So that sends a message to Benito, to Allen, like, hey, you're doing what you're doing. We'll take care of you in due time when your time comes. But then all of a sudden you start running out of money because you took care of somebody else at the wrong time. And I'm really torn on the deal. Sutton obviously is a great dude, but the years, the amount of money is tough to just think of the future of the team and how that fits into what we're trying to accomplish. Plus the fact that feels like every other year there's just a deep wide receiver core that comes out where you can find top talent, not in the top 10. I mean, yes, in the top 10, but top 20, top 30, first 2 rounds, first 3 rounds. There's always, some talent in there where it's like, man, do we want to commit all this right now? But that's the decision they made. The better your quarterback is, the more you don't need to make these type of moves. Like, the easiest example is obviously the Patriots. They never paid anybody, right? Because they had the best quarterback and he would cover up mistakes all over the darn field. So if Bo Nix is that guy, right, maybe the next time we don't have to make this type of decision where it's like, go get your money somewhere else, buddy. But maybe right now in year 2, this was the right move.
Yeah. I really do think that it's probably front loaded contract where they're really in it for 2 years, where it's a manageable cap after that in terms of, they could move on from it if necessary. The other thing to think about is, what was he making before? I want to say it was like 18 or something like that. So he got a bump up to 25. If you think about it, they're actually getting about 35 million next year for additional salary cap from the Russell Wilson fiasco all being done. So something tells me they looked at it as, it isn't going to kill us. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to make our team happy, make sure everyone's on the same page. He was the number 1 target for Bo Nix last year. Let's just run it back, and worst case scenario, we'll structure this contract where we can get out from it if things start heading south after a couple of years. So that's what I'm guessing is their thought process. And something tells me if the contract details do get out, we'll be able to see that and be like, yeah, I think they were hedging their bets. Um, the loss of assets from Russell Wilson and Sean Payton as well is the reason why I don't see a deal like the Parsons deal like we were talking about. Although I will say it would be freaking cool to see the best pass rusher in the NFL paired with the best corner in the NFL. So like
Right.
living in fantasy land for a little bit, like that would be freaking cool, you know. But it just does. I don't think it lives in reality, but it's a fun talking point. Everybody on social media is saying it, so
Yeah.
might as well put fuel to the fire if you get what I'm saying. But
You look good in orange and blue.
hell yeah. But it is interesting to hear in in general how well the defense is doing. Obviously, the offense hasn't been doing as well, and they do say that offenses typically start slow in training camps and things of that nature. And that's just it's because in my opinion at least, it's because it's a lot less reactionary as opposed to defense. You know, you're kind of processing the plays and things like that, whereas defense is just see ball, get ball. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and I do think especially since he's only thrown one pick through this time, like, you know, there's encouragement there. I've seen videos of him throwing certain passes, and like I still see the it factor. So I'm not down on the offense right now. I just think that the defense is dang good, and this offense has a learning curve.
Yeah. I mean, they're going up against an amazing defense, right? So that's only going to help them throughout the course of the season. And, hopefully Sutton, some of the pressure is taken off of him, right? So maybe that 1,000 yards turns into 1,300 this year. And, 7, 8 touchdowns turns into 11, 12. And then that opens up possibilities for everybody else as well. So we'll see the balance of the offense, run pass. We'll see what these other targets does to help Nick's game flourish. And then we'll see what going against the top defense consistently in practice does when, we get the Tennessee Titans, coming up on the schedule. So
Yeah.
very curious how it plays out.
Yeah, and then kind of to circle back to the wide receiver room that we were talking about, Evan Ingram is continuing to work with wide receivers. So I really do see, they dropped the Joker, which term quite a bit in the offseason, which I think is a buzzword, if you get what I mean. Something
Yeah.
to kind of just get people talking or something like that. By all means, like I know it's got a little bit of merit to it, but I do think that Sean is going to use Evan Ingram in one of those roles that literally just expose the defense. And what I mean by that is he's going to line him out at wide receiver. And if he sees and if Bo sees a linebacker or safety covering him, then he'll kind of know, okay, this is man. Like
Yeah.
obviously a defense can disguise those things a little bit, but more than likely, man and zone. I mean, those concepts. If you motion them around enough, you can start to kind of see what's going on. Unless, there's ways to disguise, but it is a tall tale way to figure things out. And a body like Evan Ingram, where they have to get someone on him, I think it's going to help Bo from a developmental aspect. And in general, I wouldn't mind seeing him at wide receiver.
Yeah. I could see him being used like, Aaron Hernandez was.
Yeah.
I know that's a controversial name to throw out there, but I see a very similar skill set.
Profile.
Hey, yeah, exactly. We're not talking about the other stuff. So I can see that style, and then also Mims has been, coming out of the backfield as well. We're going to see a lot of tweaks and quirks to this offense, and I don't think it's gimmicks. I think it's Peyton using the talent and skill set in different ways versus just the traditional, here's your position, this is what you do, type stuff. That was my Sean Payton voice there for a second. So, like I said, Mims coming out of the backfield all of a sudden. Evan Ingram lining up at wideout. Maybe seeing him in the H-back type stuff. it's going to be unique to see this offense flourish.
Yeah, there was a gentleman on, it was either DNVR or Locked On Broncos. I listened to them both in the shower. Don't want to give you guys that visual, but perfect thing to throw on in the shower, including Denver
Okay.
Gridiron and Hoops. Just to put it out there, like, comment, subscribe. But one of them mentioned that the Broncos in general, like with Sean Payton, that he had the training wheels on the first 2 years with Russ, or I guess it'd be 3 years now, right? With Russ, and then with Bo, the training wheels were on, and the playbook was pretty narrow. They think that this year it's opening up, and that Sean Payton's going to flourish. And like, if you think about it from a weapon standpoint, like, obviously this offense isn't like, it's not crazy, but they have given him enough gadgets and enough flexibility to where he's going to be able to be creative. And I think that there's a reason why we paid all those assets to get him. There's a reason why he's been able to turn around this team so quickly. At this point in Sean Payton, we trust, like, full trust, because he's either going to succeed or we are going to fail as a team. So I want him to have all the options he can, and I'm a believer right now because he's been able to turn this around in my opinion in record speed, because that not only just the Russ experience, but overcoming that contract and still putting a good product on the field. Like, I'm just in his corner right now.
Yeah, playoff appearance and with a rookie quarterback, not easy to do in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, you listen to those other podcasts in the shower. I listen to them while on the toilet, just because some of their takes are remind me of what I need to expel. But if they ever want to bring us on in debate, more than happy to do so. Yes, would I be riding their tails and trying to clout chase, or what's that? Aura farm. That's what the kids call it, right? Of course, I would be aura farming, but they're too scared to do it. So,
Vinny,
go ahead.
You're not going to be able to hear this, but I'm making a list.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I dropped the "I'm a man, I'm 40" sound drop, and that's just telling them, like, we're grown men. We can go on there. We can debate, and then you earlier you dropped the playoff line. So I've got this little board in front of me, guys. So I just have to utilize it.
The playoffs.
Use it.
Talk about
and
playoffs.
You see these bags under these eyes. I do not care. Okay?
It just that was the playoffs drop right there. I gotta pipe that in for Vinny, because unfortunately I haven't perfected this version yet. We're new to YouTube. I'm trying these things out, but I need Vinny to be able to hear those sound drops because they're awesome. But
you think Sons of Anarchy Scott Hastings doesn't care? I could care even less, because that's what I call him now, because that's what he looks like. Like he's should have been on Sons of Anarchy, as an extra or something on there.
Yeah, Scott, man, he's sticking around, man. I tell you what, I don't know if he'll ever go. But I think we've kind of exhausted at least what little information we have regarding the Broncos. Might as well throw in some nuggets. Do you have anything offhand that you want to talk about on them?
Nuggets. I mean, the only thing I can think of right now is, and this might be more just NBA than just Nuggets, is, what do we do with these free agents that are still out there? Do we make that move now? That's a very tough question to answer. So obviously the Russ train is gone. Like, if they were going to bring Russ back, they would have done it by now. So that's gone. Al Horford is probably waiting for whatever happens with Kuminga and the Warriors to play out, to see what he can get from them.
CP3 went to the Clippers.
Yeah, what's the dude's name who fell off? Can barely even hit a jumper these days, but plays defense like crazy. Um, played for Brooklyn.
I'm not
Your guy,
sure offhand.
he's the 6'8" dude who plays crazy defense, but can't score anymore.
I can't think offhand.
Played for the Clippers last year. Oh my goodness, he was like a top 1 or 2 pick. Cannot believe it. His name's escaping me right now.
Is it Chris Dunn? No, he's not 6. Chris Dunn's like 6'5".
No, he like left for like a year. Oh my goodness.
Trying
So,
to-
anyways, we'll look up his name here in a minute. There's still just a few guys out there now, and my question for the front office is, are you waiting, or are you not going to spend the money? Which one is it?
yeah.
And I saw an article of somebody who went the flip side on the Nuggets offseason and rated them like a C or something. And who knows? They might have been trying to get clickbait, but what they said did have some merit, where the move to get rid of MPJ is actually just to cut salary.
Yeah. I know what
And
you're
that
talking about.
Brown and Hardaway Jr. were going to sign with us anyways. So we were going to get those guys no matter what. And then the MPJ move was just to cut salary versus, potentially packaging MPJ and somebody else and getting, an elite superstar. Ben Simmons. Finally, that name came to me.
Yeah. Oh, Ben Simmons. Yeah. So, in my opinion, that piece was a cop out. Because they did not bring up the fact that Cam Johnson could potentially be a better player than MPJ for the team. They did not bring up the fact that extra $10 million player trade exception allowed us to get Jonas Valanciunas. And maybe they just don't understand the NBA salary cap ramifications on flexibility and things like that. But yeah, I read that, and to me it was either A, attention grab, or B, not understanding the gymnastics of NBA salary cap and how to manage it. Because not only were we able to move off that contract that was aging worse and worse by the year, because it only goes up. That contract doesn't stay at that amount. It keeps going up. But above and beyond that, we now have flexibility if we need to make another move, if we need to transition again. Like, I don't think anybody thought we could have got that return for him. Like like you were talking about, a washing machine. Like, the thing is or bag of basketballs. I was going semi-pro with that, but it just, there's no way, if you at least understand like the NBA salary cap and all those things, there's no way it wasn't a successful trade. At least in my opinion. Yeah.
So that's where I'm at, just seeing, like, are we waiting or are we saving? That's what I'm most curious about for this last move.
I don't know if he has anything left in the tank at this point in time. I've wanted him for 3 years, but I'd be really happy if we got Seth Curry. I think he can provide enough ball handling, because like we just need someone to get it up the court. And like, he's not, by all means, he's not like a point guard, but he can bring the ball up. And then he can provide some shooting off the bench, and he's not really a defensive guy. But I'd actually be pretty excited about that, just because it'd be someone that I think would actually get playoff minutes, which with this final spot, we need, even if it's 3 minutes in the playoffs, we want someone who can actually contribute. You know what I mean?
Yeah, agreed. At minimum, we'd be able to put our team into the national spotlight 2 or 3 times a game by mentioning his brother.
Yeah.
So at minimum, anytime you can have a broadcast where you mention Steph Curry, and you can do so naturally, just increases the value of your team. So,
what's wild is, now obviously the volume's a lot less, but Seth Curry is actually a better shooter than Steph Curry.
That's funny.
Statistically. But we all, right. We all know, like, he's not having to fight through 7 screens and everything like that to get the ball to shoot it. But statistically, he's a better shooter.
Yeah, he's more like the okay, we got to double Jokic. Okay, we got to worry about Murray. Oh crap, there's Seth on the
But that's
3-point line waiting for a shot. I know,
but
I
that's
get it. I get it.
perfect. That is
Yeah, no, I
perfect.
get it.
Because guess what? That's what's gonna happen. Oh, Gordon's in the dunker spot. Jokic is driving in. Murray's on the swing side. Oh, Curry's over there in the corner for a 3. Yeah.
Man, this season has me on edge. We're not even anywhere close. Although Halloween's right around the corner, spooky season. I saw Halloween stuff at Walmart. So the start
Oh,
of NBA
man.
is not that far away because Halloween stuff is already coming out.
They're starting early.
Yeah, this season has me on edge because the team just on paper has a ton of talent, but then you just see all these other darn teams and now Luka's in shape all of a sudden. It's like because honestly, if that dude and LeBron are clicking, gosh, that's gonna be a tough out. Like, what team is not a tough out in the West right now? You name a team that you want to see in the West, please. Which one do you want to see?
Probably the Grizzlies. No.
Which you might see them in the first round if you're a top 1, 2, or 3 seed.
Yeah.
But then, who do you want to see? The Clippers, and hope that somebody gets hurt.
The Clippers are always that team that you just anything is that can go wrong will go wrong, but they have assembled a squad this year. I mean, honestly, every year they do.
Yeah. Do you want to see the defending champions? Do you want to see Luka in shape? Do you want to see Ant-Man? Do you want to see KD and the young Rockets? Pick your poison. So that's why the season has me on edge. I'm like, oh my goodness, we have such a good team. And the West just loaded. I know we've talked about this a few times. It ticks me off that we sat pat the last 2 years, but man.
What scares me most is how many of the contending teams picked up some big men. Because they know. The real ones know. And so just for my own morbid curiosity, I was looking up Seth Curry's stats. 68 games played, 45.6% from 3. Come on, get that over here. Get that over here. But
Nuggets front office. Right. You heard it here first. We want Seth Curry in town. Unless you have some master plan that we don't know about, are you saving or are you waiting? Let it be known. Get it out there. Hey, we're pursuing another, roster spot, or we're going to sit and wait to see what happens. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, and I'm just going to be blunt about it. Don't sit on your hands. You already did it the last off seasons, and you have a chance to add on this season. By all means, there's no NBA free agents moving right now, so there's probably something going on behind the scenes where everyone's just playing some type of waiting game. But let's not do it this season. There's so many players out there that could improve the team. Seth Curry, there's Monte Morris, there's Malcolm Brogdon. There's players that are not break the bank type players that can come in and contribute. We are going to push you guys because we know that the whole front office listens, subscribes, likes, comments, the whole 9. And we just want you guys to know that we're going to continue to apply this public pressure. The millions of fans that listen to this show are going to be applying the public pressure.
You're going to be cruising down the road. Somebody's going to roll down their window and be like, hey, you hear those boys on Denver Gridirons and Hoops? They want you to make a move. You better make it happen. So the pressure's been put on. And I agree. There's something going on where teams I do think they're waiting for the Warriors shoe to drop. Kuminga's got him in a tough place. He can't be traded. He has to approve the trade. And then they want to sign him for a 2-year deal, but the team option in the second year. He's like, nope, not going to do it. I want the power.
Because worst case scenario, he could just sign a qualifying offer, right, and then be an unrestricted free agent next year. That's something. That's what I feel like he's doing, because as a UFA, he would pull in a lot of money, like a lot of money.
Yeah.
I just saw a report that the Warriors are interested in Seth Curry. The Currys teaming up. That'd be kind of funny.
It would be the literal Splash Brothers instead of figurative. The Splash Brothers are back. Not what you think, though, but the Splash Brothers are back.
The Splash Blood Brothers.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That'd be
and
funny.
I'm with you, man. Like in terms of the West, it is pretty tough this year. I do think that there's going to be some limitations for certain teams, but one team that does scare me a bit more than most people are kind of reporting, and mainly probably because of their depth, but is the Lakers. I think that people are saying Aiton's washed. That was a bad pickup. I think they couldn't be furthest from the truth. I think he's going to put up career numbers because he's going to have LeBron and Luka giving him alley-oops. And I'm telling you, like, the guy could probably be a 2010, 2012 type of guy. And I wouldn't even bat an eye. Like, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. So I do think that's, and not only that, but it also helps them, for example, against the Nuggets and things like that. Now, by all means, not like Ayton is a Jokic deterrent, but it's like I've told you before, all you got to do is roll bodies at him. You've got Ayton, you've got a couple other dudes, just roll those bodies at him. That's Jokic's kryptonite. So I just don't want that to, materialize. But all that being said, we still have the best player on the planet. We still have a decent supporting cast, and I do think that this is going to be the season that we pull down another championship banner.
I love it. Like I said, I'm nervous, which means that I'm excited about the possibility of bringing another one home. Like, if I didn't think, and we're on the same chats. The last 2 years,
Go towards the light, Vinny. Go towards the light.
You know me, the last 2 years I've been pessimistic.
Yeah,
because
understandable.
They just didn't make any moves, and now I'm like, okay, they got me optimistic. This is a problem because I'm excited. And you're right, like the Lakers, they're one of the few teams that have 3 legitimate scorers: AR, LeBron, and Luka. Night in, night out, any one of them can just kill you. Any one of them. And they can do it inside, outside, mid-game. They have just 3 top-notch scorers on that team, and not many groups have that. And Rui, I think Rui's still there, right?
Yeah.
He's always been able to at least make Jokic think twice about going in the paint every single play, because he's got a little muscle, and he kind of would body him up a little bit, but then you throw 80 at him. I mean, not 80, Ayton at him. It's gonna be a tough year, and maybe we'll see them in like a conference final, right? A Denver LA rematch where we've had LA's lunch for several years, and now this is them meeting up in another conference final. I don't know.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting if the Mavericks stay healthy, because ideally they have a team that is built to compete. Whether or not all those pieces are going to mesh, that's kind of the thing that I see with the Texas teams in general. Mavericks, Rockets, like, is it going to mesh? I just don't know if it will or not, but we're fixing to find out.
Yeah. All 3 of the is Wemby going to be healthy? If he is, they've had some good drafts. Going to be one heck of a season. So we're almost there, but luckily we got the Broncos to tide us over here for the next few months.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you brought up the Spurs, because I think that they had the ultimate sleeper trade with the why am I going to forget his name right now? The point guard from the
Fox.
Kings. Yeah,
Fox.
Darren Fox. Yeah. I think he is super underrated. Like, there's a reason why he was in MVP discussions for multiple years. And
Yeah.
the thing that he adds that the Nuggets is the Nuggets' Achilles heel. And the only reason I bring this up is, like, for some reason, if we saw them in the first round, his speed we cannot match with. Like, we do not have a player on our roster that can match with his speed. And there's very few players in the NBA that are like that, but he has that element. And that's why I think him with Victor is going to be tough, because it's that speed and length that team is going to possess going forward. That's going to be tough to deal with.
Yeah. The Kings. You have De'Aaron Fox and Halliburton.
Yeah.
And now you have neither of them.
And yeah.
Oh.
It's like the Chicago Bulls. Like, I don't even know how the GM, or I don't even know how the ownership there can keep that team, because all they do is pay people a lot of money and then just source them out to other teams.
And sell 23 jerseys.
Yeah, right. They're set for life. They ain't worried about that.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're gonna stick with you throughout the year, you know. So make sure to come back and enjoy some Denver Nuggets, some Denver Nuggets and Denver Broncos content. And until next time, you guys have a wonderful night.
Deuce.
In the Mile High City, where the lights shine bright, the Broncos fight hard in the cold, clear night. With every Hail Mary, our hopes take flight, and the Nuggets dribble dreams into the spotlight. 24 seconds, the clock's racing down. On and hoops, we stand tall. With every dunk and three, we give it our all. In the city of champions, we heed the call. Together as one, we rise, never fall. With a quick crossover and a thunderous slam, the crowd's rolling wild, it's now or never, man. From the court to the field, we stake our claim. Together we'll rise, united in the game. Hit sticks collide, feel the energy surge. And play, we give it our all. In the city of champions, we heed the call. Together as one, we rise, never fall. So let's lace up tight, let the games begin. In Denver's heart, where we all win.